Hi everyone, it's your favorite skeleton here, and as we get closer and closer to Halloween, in this spoopy month, more stories are shared and more crazy things happen to regular people. Well, I'm going to be reading 5 different crazy stories from Bored Panda. This is People Share Creepy, Unexplainable Things That Happen to Them. Story 1. My mom and I were on the highway driving home, and there was a semi-truck in the lane next to us. Suddenly, the semi swerved into our lane. Luckily, my mom was able to get out of the way before it hit us, but soon after, I began feeling strangely. The entire right side of my face felt hot and sticky. I tasted blood and smelled the very pungent scent of gasoline. Then my head and right arm started to ache really badly, and I couldn't feel my legs. Just as soon as the pain started to worsen, it went away, replaced with a cold, eerie chill. I told my mom about this, and she couldn't come up with an explanation. I think I was feeling the pain in another timeline, where my mom wasn't able to avoid that semi. My dad drank out of the same black cup every day. One day, he filled up a different white cup. I asked him, "What gives?" And he claimed to always have used that cup. I asked the rest of my family, and they all said the same thing. Is it another glitch in the Matrix? Who knows? Third story. I dropped my phone in the kitchen, and I looked to grab it off the floor, but it wasn't there. I heard it hit the floor, but I couldn't find it. It was in the middle of the room, too. There was no way it could have gone more than 3 feet away from me. I checked under everything and went through the entire house looking for it, but it was gone. I had my mom call my phone, and it said that my line was disconnected. I checked the Find My iPhone app, and it said it couldn't find my phone because it couldn't find a signal. That was 4 years ago, and we still haven't found it. It's like it hit the ground and immediately disappeared afterwards. Story 4. This just happened, and my heart is still beating like crazy. I was chilling on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, when I heard my cat jumping down from his bed. He usually wants to go outside after sleeping, so I looked at him and said, "Do you want to go outside, buddy?" with my annoying cat voice. He just looked at me, not answering, like a normal cat. I was ready to go let him out, but looked back at my phone for just a second. That's when it hit me. I let him outside a few hours ago. I turned my head to look back at him in confusion, but he wasn't there. I went to the front door, and yep, he was outside and came running when I opened the door. I have no idea what just happened. It sounds to me like her cat learned teleportation. The final story. This technically happened last night, but I was just starting a graveyard shift and I'm only now getting it all down. I work at a gas station chain with only numbers in its name. We're just outside of a large chunk of suburbs. None of that middle of nowhere, like we aren't exactly near any other businesses, but we are rarely completely dead for hours at a time. It was just past midnight, and with everything going on in the US right now, not a lot of things other than gas stations or bars are open at night anymore, so it was a slower evening. I was the only one in the store, and a car pulled up to one of the 2 double-sided pumps out front. Pretty standard white 4-door. I'm not great with car brands, but it was a little nicer, like upper middle class and probably only a few years old. A woman gets out and starts walking towards our door like she's in a daze. Legit, this woman looked like she saw a ghost. She wanders up, sort of freezes at the door for a second with a 1,000-yard stare before opening it and coming in. She didn't go looking for anything, didn't start shopping, just sort of stood inside for what felt like ages. Again, bars are still open, so I think maybe she's a little drunk or had a rough night or something. So I give the usual, "Welcome to the gas station, let me know if you need any help finding anything." And she finally notices me and immediately asks me the weirdest damn question I've ever been asked on the job. "You can see me, right?" "Yeah? Like what else do you say?" She breaks down crying in the middle of my store, so I'm already headed around the corner to see what's up. I have my cell phone out in case I need to call the cops or something for her. I get her to sit down on a nearby pallet of soda, and I'm grabbing her a bottle of water, and after she catches her breath a little, she tells me, "I thought I had died." Again, I'm thinking, maybe she's on something, but she's a middle-aged woman who looks like a standard local suburban housewife. We're a pretty boring township without your average junkies like you find closer to the cities. So she asks if she can call her husband to pick her up and wait with me. She has her own phone and does so, not really telling him anything either, just where she's at, and if he can come get her. He says he'll call an Uber and be there as soon as possible. We're waiting. So far nobody else has showed up, so I'm keeping most of my attention on her, and eventually she starts to explain to me. I was driving home from a dinner with my coworkers, and as I'm driving through nearby intersection I recognized, a truck ran a red light and hit me. Now her car is still at the pump without a scratch on it. She goes on to say she remembers her car being pushed into a pole, going airborne, and then nothing. I tried to calm her down, letting her know that her car is out front and it looks fine. But she insisted that she completely blacked out, woke up in an ambulance for a split second, passed out again, and then woke up again in the driver's seat of her car at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. Perfectly fine. This whole thing freaked her out so badly that she drove to the nearest anything, us, just so she could get out of the car. Husband eventually showed up to get her. He asked if I had had any idea what had happened, and even though she sort of explained to me, I just shrugged because no, I had no idea what was happening anymore. She reluctantly got into the passenger seat of the car, and he drove them back home. That was hours ago, after which I worked an entire shift at the station trying to wrap my head around what the absolute hell I had just witnessed. If you're all still here in this video, I just want to thank you all for watching and listening and liking and subscribing and just being here in general. And if you want more content like this, drop a like down below. And I'll see you all in another video.